Well, this is going to be clip number 3 in questions for atheists. So, there's no need to give you a sermon or anything like that. So, let's just commence. So, we start with question number 21. And here it is. Why is it that despite all the lauded scientific achievements, that there is an interest in the occult and magic which is increasing? And why is it that atheists seek to censor it by claiming that anyone with any interest in it is mentally ill? Question 22. Many people believe that the moon and other planets have an effect on the psyche. Although this may be called astrology, the fact is that the moon has effects on the likes of ocean tides. Do you call this a superstition under the name of astrology or scientific fact? Question 23. The problem of abiogenesis, the origin of the first lifeform, is one of the thorniest and most intractable issues in chemistry. Our increasing knowledge of microbiology and Earth history has only added to the complexity of what needs to be explained. The simplest life is equivalent to modern bacteria, which is loaded with complex activity, information, and molecular machines. The fossil record does not give evidence that there was a prebiotic soup, or that there were any biological precursors to the first organisms, or that the atmosphere was the ideal mix to yield the necessary molecules, or that there was the expected long period of time between when the Earth could support life and when it actually happened. Evolutionists regularly segregate the abiogenesis problem from the issue of evolution because 1. It is a challenge they'd rather not be saddled with, or 2. It is the most logical point for possible divine intervention. However, for the atheist, there is no escaping this issue. They are obligated to seek out some purely natural explanation, but usually come up with a politically correct one. And this leads to A. What hope for an explanation do you have? Are you satisfied to have problems like this that are unanswered or even unanswerable? B. In telling the tale of life on Earth, science writers have often unconsciously used the word miracle for the appearance of the first organisms. Is a doubt on their behalf as to what they would like to prove as to the creation of existence? C. What kind of evidence is needed before we are to actually accept that something like this really is a miracle? Question 24. The past several decades have profoundly added to our knowledge of chemistry, physics, and cosmology. It has become increasingly clear that we live in a universe finely tuned for the support of complex life. This fact is so universally acknowledged that even secular scientists have coined the term anthropic principle to describe it. How is it that we live in such an exquisitely fine-tuned universe? Even assuming that the universe could have popped out of nothingness, why should it have been such an orderly and hospitable one? Is there a scientific, testable answer for this question that does not simply appeal to imagination? And yet, anyone who does believe in God is simply told they have some sort of fantastic imagination. And yet, you have scientists who are writing scientific papers, and indeed, which goes on to political discourse and indoctrination through the education system, who rely on nothing but their own imagination. Question 25. Atheism by definition holds there is no God and nothing beyond this world of matter, space, time and energy. Consistent with this viewpoint come a large number of necessary truths and problems relating to them. Atheism is not made rational merely by the rejection of the evidences for God. It has its own wares to sell and difficulties to overcome, which leads to A. What is the evidence against the existence of God? B. If everyone on earth became an atheist, how would the world be better off? C. Does not atheism have to rely on a system of coercion to enforce non-belief? D. Most nations that have a system of government under a monarchy do so because of strong religious connection. The United States of America is also referred to as one nation under God. Is it an atheist aim to abolish royal families and the sovereignty of nations like the Mao's have achieved in Nepal, and replace all sovereign nations with a world government? E. Why are atheists always at the forefront of Marxist-tainted causes such as global warming, unrestricted immigration, gay marriage, and other latte herbal tea-sipping type neoliberal causes? And that's a fair question. F. Why have atheists, pagans, and Satanists been infiltrating white supremacist organisations and attempting to turn racial issues into solely religious issues? Examples being the anti-third world immigration issue is now an anti-Muslim issue. The same could be said for leftist anti-Zionist causes that attack Jews solely on the basis of their religious beliefs and nothing else. And if you look in the United States, you have the National Socialist Movement, which has a flip side to it, which operates under the name of the Joy of Satan. Very satanic, and yet completely contradictory. Satanism does not have colour bars or anything like that. You've also got the World Church of the Creator, which is now commonly referred to as the Creativity Movement. Very white and very atheist, that in fact they hate believers in God more than they would hate Jews, blacks, anyone else. Question 26. Why is it that atheists only target their approach to the young, 20 years of age and under, instead of those of their own age? Is it because people who are aged 40 plus are not worth educating? Or is it that gullible teenagers have bodies worth indoctrinating? You can read into that what you will. We all know what it's about. Dirty old men posing as professors looking for stupid girls to get into bed. These people are just sexual predators. Because remember, these people have no independent judgment or stance on the issues of right or wrong, moral or immoral. So anything goes so long as it serves them. Question 27. If evolution is true, why is everything so determined that we can study it? Question 28. Is it possible to study something that is always changing, like evolution? And this is a fair question, because the way evolution has been touted now, it has become politically correct. And you have people say that mixed race children are a form of evolution. And to that I would ask, okay, which one's the superior parent, which one's the inferior parent? Hey, if, let's say there's a mixed race child of one black parent, one white parent, we all know who the inferior one is, because it's politically correct to say so. Oh no, not to say so, but to believe so. But not to say so, you blame other people for stuff like that. Anyway, I'll leave it here. And I've just got a couple more, but I'll do that later on.